Meeting to order. City Clerk, could you call the roll for the City Council, Successor Agency, Finance, Housing, Power Authority?
Councilmember Authority Member Christ.
Present.
Johnson.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Smith.
Here.
Mayor Chairman Paris. We have a quorum.
Do I have a motion to excuse Mayor Paris?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? It passes unanimously. Tonight we have for the invocation Leo Deschamps from Sarah Parish. And if I could have everybody please stand and remain standing for the flag salute, please.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. God our Father, you guide everything in wisdom and love. Accept the prayers we offer for our city, state, and nation. In your goodness, watch over those in authority, so that people everywhere may enjoy freedom, security, and peace. We ask this through Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you, Father. Councilman Mann, could you lead us in the flag ceremony?
If everyone would face the flag, put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I
pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. If there's no objection, we'll do it by consent. I'd like to do NB4 and NB5 together tonight. If there's no objection, that's what we're going to do. So tonight we have a couple presentations. Tonight we have the SOAR Student of the Month, Sylvia Hernandez. Is she here? Sylvia. How are you doing, Sylvia? Now we're going to embarrass you and read all this stuff about you. So it says that in high school she has a 4.0 GPA, 3.6 in college. Activities are Christian Club 2011 to present, Health Careers Academy 2011 to present, and SOAR Ambassador 2011. She's a volunteer for the binder checks. What are binder checks?
It's average peer tutor, so I help the younger underclassmen make sure that they're organized.
Oh, very good. And then High Desert Alliance of Black School Educator Symposium volunteer, and her goals are she wants to be a major in biology and math, and you want to be a obstetrician?
Correct.
Go to medical school. Well, that's a very lofty goal. So on behalf of Mayor R.X. Paris and the City Council, you are officially the SOAR Student of the Month.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Next, we have the Mayor's Athlete of the Month, Raven Doyle. I have a lot about you. Could you read this for me? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, it says Raven is a junior at Desert Christian High School with an average 25 points for, I guess it's basketball.
Yeah.
They didn't say that here. It doesn't. We're just guessing. 25 points, 14 rebounds, 7 blocks, 7 steals, 6 assists per game during the 2011 season, and was named the varsity team's most valuable player in 2010-2011. Raven was named first Team All-Desert Mountain League for the 2010-2011 season and Desert Mountain League Most Valuable Player. Raven was named the Newcomer of the Year. Were you just on the team? The newcomer. Okay.
This was my freshman year.
Your freshman year,
Yeah.
okay. And first team All-League by the Allen Valley Press. Raven has been in contact with over 40 schools so far, including Loyola Marymount, University of San Diego, UC Davis, Cal State Northridge, Princeton, Pepperdine, Washington State, University of New Mexico, and Boise State. Have you decided where you're going to matriculate?
No.
Not yet.
No.
Haven't got the best offer yet? Holding out. Academically, Raven has accumulated a 4.29 GPA and is taking several dual credit advanced placement classes. Raven has received the United States Achievement Academy Award in 2010-2011 for National World Language, received a second United States Achievement Academy Award in 2011 for history. Raven has been a member of the California Scholastic Federation for the past 3 years and is also a member of the National Honor Society. Raven has been named in the Who's Who among American Scholars and has been named to the Principal's Honor Roll in 2010-2011. Raven volunteers her time working at the AV Dog and Cat Rescue and with 5- and 6-year-old Girl Scouts Daisy Group. Well, congratulations. You're now the Athlete of the Month, and what's important is that you're not only the Athlete of the Month, a good athlete, but an excellent academic student. So congratulations. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here tonight, and we really appreciate your input that you're going to give us on any items tonight. The consent calendar consists of routine items, and for business, it takes minimal, discussion and decisions. So we do that as one group, and these items may be acted upon as a whole, with one motion and one second with a single vote. So if you desire to speak on any consent item on the calendar, you can fill out one speaker card, and we'll let you speak on whatever of those items that you want. You get 3 minutes. All speakers must fill out a speaker card. There's blue cards in the back. If you please fill them out if you want to speak on any agenda item. Turn them into the city attorney over here. If you want to speak on a non-agendized item, you can put a card in for the end, and this is for a proper process so we can get through everything really fast. So, City Manager, is there any items that we need to be removed?
No, sir.
Council, anything else that needs to be removed? Nothing? Okay. We'll go to the successor agency actions, and this is to approve the minutes of the redevelopment agency January 24th, which is no longer in existence. So do I hear a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second?
I'll second that.
Call for a vote? That's unanimous. Okay, for the Power Authority. Speaker card. Okay, Power Authority consent calendar item 1, Mr. Reeves.
Vice Mayor Smith, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. I had an opportunity to review the amendment to the Master Solar Power Purchase and Sale Agreement with Topco Energy, and I have some comments I'd like to make on certain sections of that agreement. Section 302 has to do with the purchase price of energy, and according to the contract, it will be calculated and paid by the Lancaster Power Authority to Topco on a periodic basis, and I'm unclear about what that means. Item 501 in the agreement says time is of the essence. I don't know why we're going to be rushing through this. That doesn't make sense to me. Item 502 is the disturbing part of the agreement that the Lancaster Power Authority holds Topco harmless if any negligence occurs, and that includes the death of someone. And finally, the clincher is Section 520, conflicts of interest. In the agreement, it says no member, elected or appointed public official or employee of the Lancaster Power Authority shall have any personal interest, direct or indirect, in this master agreement, nor shall any such member, elected or appointed public official or employee participate in any decision relating to this master agreement which affects his personal interests, his economic interests, or the interests of any corporation, partnership, or association in which he is directly or indirectly interested. Reading that excludes everybody, because this agreement is going to affect everyone in this city. So these are points that I would like to have discussed before we agree with this agreement with Topco. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reeves. Any more speaker cards?
Motion to approve the consent calendar on the Power Authority action?
I second.
Call for a vote. It's unanimous. Council action items, do I hear a motion? Do I have any speaker cards in the minutes?
No.
Do I hear a motion for the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes?
Second?
I'll second that.
Call for a vote. We have a consent calendar. Council, is there anybody that wants to pull an item for discussion? With that being the case, do we have two speaker cards? Mr. Pelka. And I'm sorry to announce, I didn't announce this. Mr. Reeves has spoke here numerous times, so just so I can say that when you're up here speaking, there's a green light, and you're going to get 3 minutes. The yellow light will come on when you have 30 more seconds, and the red light will go on when you're over. As long as you stay on point on the agenda item that we're talking about, then that's fine. If you're not on point, then I'm going to have to cut you off. Same with the non-agendized items. It has to be about city business. So go ahead, Mr. Pelka.
Thank you. The item number CC6 here is pertaining to the amendment to conflict of interest list of designated employment classifications. Excuse me. I don't have a problem with the list of classifications. I do have a problem, however, with the last paragraph on page 4. It says, with respect to consultants, the city manager, however, may determine in writing that a particular consultant, although a designated person, is hired to perform a range of duties that are limited in scope and thus is not required to comply with the disclosure requirements described in this code. In other words, the city manager, under order of the mayor, can, in effect, tell the clerk or anybody else, whoever the contractor is that the city hires to do a specific job, does not have to disclose their association with whatever members of the council they may have an association with, or other members of city staff, etc. That paragraph should be removed so that there's full disclosure, which Mr. Paris claims there's full disclosure. Well, this kind of throws that out the window because, we would like to, and I would like to know, who these contractors are associated with, if they've built Mr. Paris's house or whatever in the past, what associations they had, what associations they had with you or Mr. Christ or anybody else for that matter. So that's my main complaint, and I, hope that other people will have the same concerns.
Right. Well, for one, just to clarify, if there is a financial relationship where a council member is getting financial gain from anybody, they can't have a contract with the city, so it doesn't include them. And Mr. McEwen will go over the other ones on the 700. That's scheduled by the FPPC on who has to file out the forms and everything, and I'm sure Mr. McEwen can elaborate. So it's not really us that's setting that standard. It's the state of California. Mr. Pelka, go ahead. You're over, and Mr. McEwen will clarify for you.
Well,
The purpose of this updated is just that. Every 2 years we have to update the conflict of interest code. This provision's basically common in all city, not our city, but other cities as well, conflict of interest codes. And my only observation is that it's very limited to somebody who has a very limited scope of a contract to do work. And if there was any financial interest between that entity and a council member, one, we couldn't have approved the contract with that person in the first place, and second of all, if it wasn't involving a contract, then any conflict or any financial interest would be picked up on the council members, Form 700. So it's covered. And this is just to avoid having to file unnecessary paperwork by somebody who comes in and does 2 weeks' worth of work and then is gone.
Correct. And just to clarify, this is not something that the city of Lancaster is coming up with. This is something from the state of California, and their onus, correct?
Right.
but your 700 forms were filed some time ago.
Thank you. Mr. Reeves?
And your associations could have changed.
Thank you, Mr. Palka. Mr. Reeves?
Vice Mayor Smith, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. Vice Mayor Smith, do I get 3 minutes to discuss all
Yes.
the items on the consent? I have
You get
about
3 minutes.
three or
In
four.
fact, no, now you get 2 minutes and 45 seconds.
So get busy.
2 minutes 43.
Get busy. By the way, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. CC5 is about the vehicles for hire. I have some comments about Section 5.26.090 about this vehicles for hire. The city wants these vehicles for hire to have this indemnity insurance, $250,000 bodily, $1 million for injury for more than one person, $100,000 property damage, general liability exposure in the amount of $1 million. And then in 5.26 of CC5, if there's a violation and penalty, somebody could be prosecuted as a misdemeanor. I mean, that's going to discourage people, in my opinion, from ever trying to hire a vehicle in this city. CC6 has to do with conflict of interest, and we're establishing a new list of disclosure for the city. I noticed that some of the department heads are under different categories, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and whereas the city council is under only one category, and mayor's under one category, the city attorney is under one category. I think if we're going to require department heads to be on multiple categories of disclosures, the city fathers and mothers should be under the same. Let's see what else here. Okay, CC10 is about the covered electronic waste recovery. I'll talk about that on new business 4. And let's see what else. Okay, that's about it. So you lucked out on this one. So I'll be back. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion for the consent calendar as currently complies?
So moved, so stated.
Second.
Call for a vote? Passes unanimously. NB1, do we have any speakers' cards? Mr. Reeves.
NB1 has to do with the Lancaster Housing Authority. Now, we've talked about this before. It's, my opinion, based on reading the decision of the state Supreme Court, that City Council would be the sole successor agency. I'm not an attorney, that's my opinion. Now, Mrs. Harvey made a comment last time about it, that I ought to sit down and talk with people, and I did. I still believe that we don't have a redevelopment agency anymore. We have a successor agency. Successor agency, in my opinion, should be the sole body dealing with the successor. I know there's complications with the wellness homes and the housing in the city, but if at all possible, I believe in a simplified government, and I believe that in the successor agency instead of the housing agency taking over. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more speaker cards on NB1? Do I hear a motion? Any discussion?
Motion to adopt resolution number 12-12.
Here a second.
I second.
Call for a vote. Okay, we have NB2. Do we have any speaker cards on NB2?
No,
we don't. This is to repeal ordinance number 934 of chapter 5.5. Okay, so if there's no speakers and there's no objection from the council, we'll waive the reading of the staff report and open it up for discussion among the council or entertain any motions.
Seeing none, I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 975, repealing ordinance 934 of Chapter 5.50 of the Municipal Code.
I'd second.
This is the one for E-Verify, right? Yep. Okay, call for a vote. Motion does not pass. So we can set it on the, without objection, we'll set it on the calendar for the next council meeting. Thank you. When Mayor Paris is here. So now we're going to do NB4, NB3. Do we have any speaker cards on NB3?
No, we don't.
No, we don't. Okay, without objection, we'll waive. Well, we're not on NB4. We're on NB3. Please don't interrupt the meeting. Okay, thank you. NB3, do I hear, if there's no objection, we'll waive the reading of the staff report and entertain any motions or have any discussion.
I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 976.
You're a second?
I second.
Call for a vote. Passes unanimously. We're just going to take 10 seconds to move the podium around for NB4. From the people that are here, and then we'll take all the speaker cards that I have for NB4 and NB5 together.
That is correct.
Okay, Mr. Bozigian?
We've turned the podium around because, as you'll see from the presentation, it's quite an engaging presentation by our stars of the show, which are Ecolution and Tim Fuller, and later he'll introduce all the folks here. This is really an exciting day, and I think at the end of this, when you see what's going to come to Lancaster and what it's going to mean to the whole Antelope Valley, you'll be as excited as we are, too. We've been working on this for several months as staff, council. There's some deal points I'd like to go over. I would be remiss, however, if I didn't start by thanking Councilmember Christ, who's been involved with this for a long time with Mr. Fuller, working with him and putting him in touch with the right folks, and then our staff, Jason Cottle, Robert Neal, and someone you don't often see, but Brian Bailey. Brian, where are you? Somewhere. Brian works in the city manager's office. He did a lot of research on this, too, that was really quite a help. First off, let's get the deal points so that we understand what it is. The city is going to work with Ecolution to identify a 40-acre site for the facility. The city will also work with the entity to permit the facility, and we'll have to conform to all environmental regulations. It is a 20-year agreement with an opportunity to change and renegotiate after 10. Ecolution will be responsible for building and operating the plant within a 24-month period. The city will get a host fee of $5 per ton, or 10% of the tipping fee at the facility, whichever is greater, and Ecolution's headquarters and point of sale will be in the city of Lancaster. You're going to hear from Tim and staff on this project, the particulars of it, but I wanted to take a moment to talk about when we work as a city, how we try to protect the taxpayers in negotiations and managing risk. So we have three principles that we follow always. Sometimes there's more that are particular to the deal. But the first is you work with capable and principled people. Any deal works when you work with good people, people that know what they're doing and people that are going to do what they say they're going to do. And you'll see that this group more than meets that requirement. The second is you condition on performance on both sides, that the facility has to be built and the city will have to do us. So everyone has skin in the game, so to speak. And the last is you structure a deal that success and growth are dependent on both parties working together, because both parties benefit from success from the growth of the business, so that we both have a vested interest in marketing and overcoming problems. And that's what you're going to see in this. In the post-redevelopment economic development era, you have to go back to what works. And for a couple of years with alternative energy and solar energy under the leadership of Mayor Paris and this council, we've been doing just that. What we've done first is we're forming partnership with businesses, the community, et cetera, because that's how we're going to improve economic growth. The second is that government's role is to facilitate and foster success of private business and to add value. We try to add value in every deal that we're in, not be an impediment. And the last is to work on stable and long-term revenue sources for the community, not just focusing on, wow, let's pass a tax and that's how we'll get more money. It's creating value in the community, using the resources that are here, which include the people of this community. So I think you'll see all of that in this deal. I'd like to have Jason sort of bridge between us and Ecolution and tell you how this fits into what we've been doing on alternative energy.
Thank you, Vice Mayor, Council. As you know, we've been working diligently, innovating in not only the energy field, but adding to that the waste to energy field. This fits nicely into what we've been trying to do. One is trying to merge what the private sector does best with what the public sector does best to create a partnership that allows for the construction, development, and operation of green energy facilities. As Mr. Fuller will explain, this is one of the most innovative green energy facilities of its kind, and we'll learn a little bit more about that from him. But I wanted to talk about how it fits into our energy program. As we've discussed before, we have the three functions of our energy program: the LPA, the HDPA, which is our transmission projects, and then the California Clean Energy Authority, which is the statewide opportunity. This program allows us to partner with other cities and other municipalities to solve the problems that they face as well. The problems of the new state legislation that requires a 75% recycling mandate, the cost associated with a 3-can system, and a number of different issues that are centered around waste. This project will allow those other municipalities to join us under the CCEA in partnership to solve these waste problems. Not only will it allow them to monetize their waste stream, it allows them to go green, it'll save their ratepayers as much as it'll save our ratepayers, and it'll create new job opportunities. As Mark touched on, there is some background to this energy program. It's not just about going green. It's not just about being net zero. It's about creating job opportunities through new innovative ways and techniques. This project will do every one of those goals that the council has set out and the mayor has set out. And to tell you more about it, I know we've hyped it up a bunch, and Tim's going to do a fantastic presentation, tell you the details, but I'm going to introduce Tim Fuller, who's the president of Ecolution, to tell you a little bit more of the details about the project.
Vice Mayor Smith, City Council, thank you for inviting me tonight to be able to address you, especially on this Valentine's Day, and thank you for all showing up. I probably wasn't at the top of your list of things to do on Valentine's Day was to attend a City Council meeting, so I'm glad you're all able to make it. I would like to mention one of the points that, my name is Tim Fuller, I'm the president of Ecolution. I would like to touch on one of the points that Mr. Wozigian made, and that's all the assistance that we've had in getting here today, and certainly that of Marvin Christ specifically. Marvin and I have been friends for a long time, and although Mr. Wozigian mentioned we've been working on it for a matter of months, it was almost 2 years ago when there were a group of people who've been working on waste management, recycling, environmental, helping our environment for their entire lifetimes, came to my office and talked to me about some opportunities. I've known Marvin for a long time, and I've always appreciated his advice and counsel. And while I was listening to this presentation, gave him a call. He actually came over and listened to it, and immediately saw what the benefits were, not only for all of us in our environment, but specifically for the city of Lancaster. So without Marvin's work, we wouldn't be here today. And Mr. Wozigian also understated his role and that of his city staff, because I know that the city receives a lot of proposals, and many of them have merit and probably a lot of them don't. But we were given the opportunity to really discuss what we had in mind. And it wasn't an easy process. We were promised a half-an-hour meeting. That half-an-hour meeting turned to a 3-plus-hour meeting. That was our first one. There was a whole series of them, especially over the last year, where we've talked about that. So I really appreciate everybody being here today and giving us this opportunity. We're all familiar with the environmental slogan of reduce, reuse, and recycle. And for each of us to have a positive impact on our environment, we need to reduce what we consume, reuse when possible, and then recycle to the extent possible. However, at some point, whatever's left over from that consumer cycle has to be disposed. But unfortunately, the system that's traditionally been used for disposal of unwanted items can be harmful to us and to our environment. That's why today I'm excited to introduce to you the Ecolution Green Stream. It's a revolutionary method of waste processing that truly redefines waste. In simplistic terms, our traditional disposal practices work like this. You dig a hole and you bury it. Now, obviously, our system of landfills today are more complex than just digging a hole. Laws exist to regulate the use of landfills and minimize environmental damage. There are complex recovery systems that have been developed to capture portions of the gas that can be captured that are generated by rotting waste. However, all these laws and systems are designed to achieve one goal, and that's to mitigate the damage caused by burying garbage. In Lancaster, we currently have a commonly used 3-bin waste collection system. The problem is that it requires every person who disposes of trash to make the correct decision concerning every item of trash that's disposed of. And every week, regardless of how full those bins are, you have to drag them all out to the curb. And then 3 trucks are required to pick up your trash, 1 for each bin. You may have one come by in the morning, you may have another truck comes by in midday, and sometimes even one that comes by in the evening. And these trucks are the heaviest trucks that regularly travel residential streets. And the more they travel our streets, the more it costs our city, through our taxes, to repair, maintain, and replace those streets. And these trucks also contribute to noise pollution and to air pollution, and they're expensive. They're expensive to purchase, operate, and to maintain. And then the only trash that is sent for further sorting and recycling is whatever is in the recycling bin, and it contains what each person decided was worthy of recycling based on their own personal motivation and effort, and also on the rules for recycling that are established by your waste hauler. Everything else goes directly to the landfill. On average, for every 100 loads of waste that are collected, approximately 50 truckloads of waste is buried, and then we have to deal with those problems that creates. The Lancaster landfill is not within our city limits, and therefore the city doesn't receive any fees for hosting this facility. And even with all this time, effort, and expense of our current recycling system, everyone gets it wrong. Studies confirm that up to 50% of the items that are collected in the black bins, and that's the non-recycling bins, are actually materials that have commercial value. And additionally, between 25 to 40% of the material that's placed in the recycled bins, according to the rules, never should have been in that bin to begin with. Now remember, for this system to work, every person that handles waste has to make a decision about every piece of waste that's disposed of. And even if you get it right every time, which no one does, you're only expected to recycle a limited number of items, and you're only allowed to recycle items that are on that approved list. Additionally, every item that's thrown into the black bin, the non-recycled bins, goes directly to the landfill, and there's nobody looking at that bin and seeing what might be in there, whether it's hazardous waste or something like e-waste. Now, currently, California law requires a 50% diversion rate. Now, that means that half of all the garbage collected cannot be, by law, be sent to a landfill. And there's a new law, AB 341, that was passed and signed into law this year that requires mandatory recycling for multifamily units and businesses this year and a 75% landfill diversion rate by the year 2020. Excuse me. Now, to be able to keep 75% of all of our trash collected from being sent to a landfill, that means more and more items are going to need to be removed from the waste stream, resulting in higher concentration of non-recyclable items, principally wet organic materials such as food waste, then being sent to the landfill. Unfortunately, this residue causes the most problems in landfills. It smells. It creates leakage problems. It produces gases. It attracts birds, rats, and other vermin. And unfortunately, it gets worse. Currently, approximately 25% of all the waste generated in Los Angeles County is disposed of in the Puente Hills landfill. And this landfill is scheduled to be closed during the year 2013. This means that more waste is going to be diverted to other landfills. Currently, 1,700 tons per day of waste are allowed to be disposed of in the Lancaster landfill, of which approximately 400 tons is generated by the city of Lancaster. Under a new proposal, this would be increased to 3,000 tons per day. In addition to the concerns about the future of the landfill, if you continue to rely on every person separating waste to increase your diversion rate, that means you'll have to separate more of your trash, and that means more bins. More trucks going down our streets to collect the bins. And all the added costs being passed on directly to you. Now, fortunately, the Ecolution Green Stream provides a solution for all of these problems. And this is where it gets exciting. The Green Stream does not require you to decide which bin of each piece of garbage belongs in. You dispose of everything in one bin. Now, this doesn't mean that you only have one bin. You might need more than one, but you don't have to make a decision as to what goes into which bin. You can put it all in one. When that's filled up, you put it in the next one. Only one truck is going to be needed because you're going to place all those bins on the curb at the same time. They're going to be picked up by one truck and all taken to the same area. The costs associated with waste disposal will not have to be raised because of a complicated collection system. In fact, the Green Stream simplifies the collection system. Now let's take a look at how we achieve this. First of all, waste processing is done in a completely enclosed ecolution facility located within the city limits of Lancaster. From the outside of this facility, there will be no smell and no indication that up to 4,000 tons per day of waste is being processed inside. The ecolution facility is definitely something that you will want to visit, and it will be a facility that we will be proud of having in our city. And you will be able to visit the city because it will be open to the public. It will include a center for visitors and for environmental education. Now, because this facility will be built in the city of Lancaster, host fees will be paid directly to the city of Lancaster. At full capacity, this would amount to nearly $6 million of additional new revenue for the city each and every year. All the collected waste will come directly to the ecolution facility to be processed through the Green Stream. The Green Stream is a highly mechanized system for separating materials that includes 10 patent and patent-pending components. Green Stream consists of grinders, sorters, belts, and other machinery that separates highly concentrated, dependable qualities and quantities of targeted materials with an overall landfill diversion rate of 85% or higher. The remaining 15% is sent to the landfill for disposal. However, the residue from the Green Stream will consist almost entirely of non-organic inert materials such as sand and gravel. In fact, the residue from the Green Stream can help any landfill in becoming virtually carbon neutral. Every machine used in the Green Stream is guaranteed by the manufacturer to recover 95% or better of whatever item or items the machine is designed to capture. Every piece of machinery in the Green Stream is currently in use in numerous applications throughout the world. The differences between the Green Stream and other similar systems include most systems are very labor intensive, while the Green Stream is highly mechanized, increasing efficiency and lowering operating costs. The Green Stream does not require initial source separation. The wet organic material is removed at the very beginning of the process, which ensures the quality of recovered materials is not negatively impacted. In the video, you will note how clean the recovered material is. You can see as how the material passes through the system and continually separates the targeted materials from everything else until virtually nothing else remains. You can even see how the targeted materials literally jump off the production line as it's targeted by optical sorters and air jets. Approximately 200 people will be employed by Ecolution to run our facility. For the most part, these people will be tasked with monitoring and maintaining equipment. The people working on the Green Stream will not suffer from the burnout typically associated with hand sorting operations. Human error is eliminated and nothing is left to chance. The entire waste stream is sorted. These are the true green jobs that I'm sure you've heard about, but that very few companies have been able to produce. The Green Stream is designed to work 20 hours per day, 6 days a week, with 48 hours each week being devoted to cleaning and maintaining the system to ensure continual performance without downtime. After the waste has been processed through the Green Stream, the result is the separation of 20 different materials of highly dependable quality, quantity, and value. Now you remember that concentrated organic waste that I talked about earlier. Organic waste decomposes and produces biogas, primarily methane. This process cannot be stopped since it is a natural result of decomposition. The gas produced at landfills due to organic waste is commonly dealt with by either burning it or attempting to capture what can be captured before it is released into the environment. In contrast, the green stream captures nearly 100% of the methane gas that's produced. This is accomplished by using a series of sophisticated, unique anaerobic digesters specifically designed for processing municipal wet organic waste. As a result of this system, the captured gas can be converted into natural gas, which is the same as you have in your home, only cleaner. The gas can also be converted into compressed natural gas, biodiesel, or used as fuel to produce electricity. While other digesters produce an inferior soil amendment as a solid byproduct, the green stream produces grade A compost. Ecolution's green stream has numerous advantages when compared to traditional waste processing. The management of waste becomes simple through the use of one bin collection system. Air and noise pollution, road repairs, and maintenance are all reduced. Green stream receives all the waste and returns it to society for reuse in its highest and best form. It eliminates the problems traditionally associated with landfills. It captures 100% of the gas, or nearly 100% of the gas, produced by decomposition. It creates approximately 200 true green jobs. Provides the city of Lancaster with close to $6 million a year in new revenue, and far exceeds the new diversion requirements. In essence, the green stream truly does redefine waste. It's a solution that benefits everyone: the environment, the County of Los Angeles, the Antelope Valley, the City of Lancaster, and you. Some people shudder at the thought of being the first to do anything. Others, like the City of Lancaster, are the leaders in innovation. The Ecolution facility will be the first of its kind. It draws on proven technology combined in a way that nobody has ever done before. But we're used to doing that, and it's in our blood. Our aerospace industry didn't invent flying. Those principles were long proven. But our community took flying to a level that nobody had ever dreamed of, such as when Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier. This is a logical progression of our community spirit. Yes, we operate intelligently, but we also operate courageously. This is the future, and it's happening now. The green stream is a quantum leap forward in Lancaster's destiny of being recognized as the green capital of the world. At this time, I'd like to introduce other members of our Board of Directors of Ecolution. First of all, our Chairman of the Board, our Board of Directors, George Gitchell. George is also the President and CEO of Organic Energy Corporation, President of Rose Waste Systems, and is our principal technology partner with multiple patent-pending waste separation conversion technology applications. Our Chief Operating Officer and CFO, Steve Tucker. Our Vice President and Secretary, Mel Howard. Steve and Mel are both local, successful entrepreneurs and owners of Pacific Coast Waste and Recycling. Together, Mel and Steve have over 45 years of combined experience in waste service industries, including waste collection and recycling. Our Vice President, Tony Jimenez. In addition to having been raised in Lancaster and as a fellow graduate of Antelope Valley High School, Tony is the founder, CEO, and president of Microtech, a multifaceted technology company which holds the distinction among numerous other awards of being the #1 fastest growing Hispanic-owned business in the United States for the years 2009, 2010, and 2011. He also holds the distinction of being a retired Army colonel. Our Vice President, Todd Porter. Todd has over 15 years of experience in marketing and advertising, public and governmental relations, and community outreach. Our manager, Larry Buckle. And Larry is the Chief Technology Officer for Organic Energy Corporation, is also a process engineer with considerable operating experience in solid waste processing, water, wastewater, waste management, and environmental engineering. At this time, I'd like to invite our chairman, George Gitchell, to say a few brief words.
Thank you, Tim. Greetings, Honorable Vice Mayor and City Council, city staff, and residents. I have over 31 years' experience designing and building the most advanced recovery facilities in my field. We have spent the last 17 years traveling the globe and conducting research to develop the most innovative system to recycle waste and convert waste into new products and clean renewable energy. This R&D has culminated in 12 patent applications. Our technology will transform the solid waste conversion technology and renewable energy space in a way equal to what Steve Jobs has done for technology. Every piece of equipment and technology that we use is field proven by the suppliers, the systems integrators, and major insurance companies. Our team includes the absolute best firms in the world from the fields of material handling, separation systems, systems integration, engineering and construction management, finance, recyclable commodity sales, and conversion technologies. Our project will establish Lancaster as the global leader in community sustainability, environmental stewardship, and green innovation. I stand here before you to give the residents of Lancaster, Honorable Vice Mayor, Honorable Council members, my pledge and commitment to guarantee the success of this project. We will accept nothing less than absolute excellence in every aspect of our relationship with the city and its residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And then finally, I'd like to bring up our Vice President, Tony Jimenez, to address the council.
Hi, my name is Tony Jimenez, and I am the President and CEO of Microtech, and I am an Antelope Valley graduate, and this is my home, and this is the first opportunity I've had to participate in something that I think is so significant that when Tom and Tim both gave me an opportunity to hear about this, I knew I had to be involved, especially knowing that this is where my heart is, and this is where I consider my home. And now to be involved in a project, I live in the Washington, D.C. area, and we support a lot of states and a lot of municipalities and a lot of federal government agencies. And now having an opportunity to come back home and be a part of something I think that is amazingly significant has got me very excited. And I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm more excited about being a part of this than I have been in a very long time. And we're involved in some very, very innovative technologies with a lot of very important customers, and I think that this will give me an opportunity to be involved with one of the most important partners I've had my whole life, the City of Lancaster. Thank you.
If you have any questions, we would be happy to do our best to answer them.
Any questions from council?
Hi, can you clarify the three cans? If individuals need more than one can, it should be available?
Correct. The idea is that there's no work in terms of sorting out. The individual no longer has to make the decision what's recyclable and what's not recyclable. Everything goes in the same bin. But if that means that you, as a resident, would need 2 bins, that's fine as well. You don't have to drag all 3 out if you've only got 3 that are a third full, for example.
George talked earlier in regards to the machinery here is insured. Can you have him address that portion?
Sure, George.
I'd be happy to do that. What we do when we design these equipment packages is we do a mass balance based on a process flow diagram. We chart the tracking of all the waste materials that we separate through that process. We give that mass balance information to the manufacturers. They give us a guarantee for 95% recovery on the target items. That guarantee is then passed on to our systems integrator, which is a company called Vecoplan. It's a German company with offices in 6 continents. They give us a system guarantee for the performance of the entire system, and then that system's guarantee is backed up by a major surety company like Zurich or Chartis for a performance guarantee that's bonded on the entire system.
Any other questions?
I have one more for Mr. Fuller. What are you going to do with the material when you're done?
Okay, we talked about the separation of the material into 20 different usable streams, and what we have envisioned is there are established commodity markets for every one of those materials, and all of our cost assumptions, profit assumptions are based on selling that directly into the commodities market. However, I think what's exciting about this particular project, and I'll use one of my own personal experiences, and that is when I was in college, one of the jobs that I had was a tomato inspector, and there was a tomato inspection station that was located out in the tomato fields, and had a lot of people working there 24 hours a day during the season, and then from there all those tomatoes were taken over to a factory where they were all processed. And the thing is that I think it was Del Monte at that point in time that owned the factory. They didn't build that factory there and then people decided to grow tomatoes. What happened was that's where people grew tomatoes, and therefore the factory was placed in the middle of it. And what it was the feedstock. It was the raw materials that they needed for the production of their tomato paste and other things. We see what's be exciting here is that same principle, and literally if you build it, they will come. There's a large market for materials that are made from recycled feedstock. Problem has been dependable quantities and qualities of those materials, and that's one of the things that the green stream produces. I mean, that is the major thing that it produces. With the mines that we have here in Lancaster and the dedication that we've seen in making this the green capital of the world, I'm convinced that by building that facility, you'll see the same, that people will come here to take advantage of the fact they have those feedstocks.
Any other questions?
I just have a quick comment. Unfortunately, Mayor Paris isn't here tonight, but he has asked me to express his support for this project. I know that Mayor Paris has been working with you for many months, and this project falls squarely in line with our goal of positioning the City of Lancaster as the leader in the alternative energy field. The benefits that you've shown us about the green stream is absolutely amazing. But more importantly, as you mentioned, this will create about 200 jobs, correct?
Not counting the construction jobs.
Correct, so about 300 jobs. It'll create 300 jobs. So we fully support the project, and we look forward to this partnership.
Well, thank you. Any comments?
Is that it for that?
I don't have any questions, but I also would like to say that we're very excited about this. This is really, really exciting that we're able to bring this here to our city of Lancaster. One of the things that I have to say is probably the most exciting for my husband is that he doesn't have to take out 3 bins at all. He would only have to take out 1. So, Marco, I'm sure that he'll be very happy for that. One of the things that's very exciting, as you were saying, Katie, is that the employment. I mean, we really are excited about that we would be able to hire more locals here in our community with this being available here in our city of Lancaster. And this is a great example of what our purpose here, one of our purpose here in Lancaster is to become the green capital of the world. So it's very exciting. I think we're all really, really excited about this project. So we thank you for bringing it to our city of Lancaster. But I really support it even more because Tony Jimenez is a graduate of AV High School.
Yeah, there you go.
So I like to applaud that.
Before we vote, should we get a rundown of who graduated where?
I voted. Before we vote, I went to AV High School.
Okay, so it's time to take speaker cards,
Thank you.
correct?
I went to Palmdale and proud of it.
We're sorry, Mr.
I don't know
Christ.
why we moved the podium around. They didn't even use the front of it. They stood on the side. So you want to move the podium back around so we can have the speakers? Okay, great. Jason will do it this time? Okay. Take a moment there. And just to be, I think Ms. Feller's out there. I don't know if you were here, Ms. Feller, at the beginning of the meeting, but we had combined NB4 and NB5, so I'll give you an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes on the combined item. Mr. Pelka. Mr. Mr. Martin and Mr. Galindo, both of you are late, so we're not going to receive your cards at this time. I'm sorry. Mr. Pelka?
Could you reset the clock, please? You spoke over me.
That's fine. Yeah.
Thank you. It seems that reading over these two addendums here to your contract, the company that specializes in recovery and division of recyclables and landfill-bound municipal refuse, it seems that this company would, the only way they're going to prosper and grow is to bringing in refuse from other areas. That's going to increase traffic on our highways, increase wear and tear on the highways coming into the area, more smog from the vehicles, et cetera, et cetera. Also, under your contract, it says the city is responsible for acquiring the land that this plant will be built on. That's about 40 acres. Where is that money going to come from to acquire the land? How will the land be acquired? Through eminent domain? Will it be acquired? Will it be built in my backyard? Because obviously, in case of a facility like that, we'll be drawing in vermin and other undesirables. You may not smell as you claim, but also recycling wet. Let's see, what do I have here? Recycling the wet organic waste and trying to convert that into a biomass gas, like natural gas, requires very toxic chemicals in doing that. How's the toxic chemicals going to be managed? The hydrochloric acid, hydrogen, et cetera, the explosive factors of using hydrogen to convert the methane, et cetera. Also, what concerns I have is the city of Lancaster basically, helping to pay for a startup company that is using us as an experimental field here, when companies like Waste Management have been doing this for years and are very good at actually, managing large amounts of mass waste and also recycling the biomass to convert to gas energy and everything else. This is not a very fiscally sound way of the city of Lancaster investing their money. Also, the last thing I have is a concern that since the Ecolution is a limited liability company, who are all of the partners that have invested in the company, and where does that money come from? That's also a very deep concern of mine. This whole thing kind of stinks, and I don't mean from trash either.
Thank you. Michael Reeves?
Vice Mayor Smith, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen. At present, I oppose this project because I was reading the agenda, and there's something that Mr. Neal put in there on CC 10 that $30,000 revenue would be generated by sending waste to a certifying recycling center. And then I get down to NB4, and I'm told that it will create 200 permanent green jobs, 100 construction jobs, will generate $5 to $6 million annually for the city. I think before we embark on something like this, then we ought to have a public hearing. This ought to be postponed for one council meeting. We have a public hearing. We have these gentlemen come up and discuss the project before the public and the pros and cons of using waste management in this project. I'm not aware, if you approve it tonight, it'll probably come up for a second reading. I'm not sure, but before you even get into the process of certifying, I really wish that we could have a public hearing. As you recall, Palmdale, our friends to the south, when they were considering doing a power plant, they had public hearings and people could come up. This is a very significant thing that we're doing, and I would hope that you would have a public hearing. Thank you very much.
Well, Mr. Reeves, we are having a hearing, and it actually is public. So, Ms. Feller?
City Council. I'm highly concerned. This is a no-bid contract. It's a great idea. Don't get me wrong, but this is not new. The pictures up there kind of prove that. Ecolution, on the other hand, is new. We aren't putting this out to bid. We're talking about starting our very own waste management. Once again, the taxpayers of Lancaster are giving public resources to start somebody's business. At one point, Mr. Paris asked what the people of Palmdale would get out of the Palmdale power plant. We could ask the same thing concerning the power company that Lancaster set up, that we are paying for, the citizens, and we can now ask it of our waste management company, which appears to be new. If we are going to be paying for this, not only are we paying to set up a company for somebody, but we also are going to watch that company make a profit on our waste. Does that mean we get to have free trash pickup? Is that going to be our payoff on this, the taxpayers? And I'm sure that some of these gentlemen do have a good background on this, but back to the no-bid contract, Mr. Fuller, I believe, is an owner of a car dealership here. He has no background in waste management, and I'm sure he's good friends with Mr. Chris, but I'm not sure if that's good enough reason to not have this go out to bid. This technology is new, but it's not brand new. Doing a Google search, you'll find at least 10 other companies involved in this in California. Why are we paying to reinvent the wheel, which is basically what you guys are asking of here? We are paying to start something brand new that already has companies out there doing this, as the pictures show. There are companies already out there doing this. Why are we paying to start up a company that we are going to pay to build, and then we're going to pay to haul away our trash, and then we're going to watch them make money on selling our refuse? I have some real concerns about this also. I do believe there needs to be a public hearing. I believe that we need to see numbers before we start, us the taxpayers, start any more brand new companies. Thank you.
Senator Pursley. Senator Pursley.
Good evening, Sandra Pursley, representative of Waste Management, graduate of Paraclete High School, since you're taking notes. I also appreciate you turned the podium to hide my growing baby bump. I look much
How are you
slimmer
feeling?
with this block.
How
I
are you
feel
feeling?
fabulous. Thank you. So sorry. Good evening, Honorable Vice Mayor, members of the City Council. For over 40 years, Waste Management has played the dual role of service provider and trusted community partner in the City of Lancaster. We have certainly worked alongside each other in smooth times and in rough times, the 90s. We provided critical support in the city's efforts to implement mandatory waste collection in 1990 and the later transition to a franchise system. Additionally, over the years, we have launched effective collection and outreach programs to assist the city in exceeding current state requirements for recycling. We appreciate the city's desire to be the first net zero city in America and your interest in green energy development. Protecting the environment, resource recovery, and capturing maximum value from the waste stream are also very important to Waste Management. In fact, Waste Management is the largest investor in alternative energy and emerging technologies in the country. As of 2009, although you may have previously thought of us as a landfill company, I'm happy to report that 50% of Waste Management's business comes from green versus traditional services. I have a couple of highlights. It's a longer list, but I'll go through it quickly. 20 million customers. We have 20 million customers currently, 390 collection operations, 5 independent power production plants, 119 landfill gas to energy projects, 17 waste to energy plants, 91 traditional recycling facilities, 34 organic recycling facilities, a new one nearby to the City of Lancaster, and 14 construction and demolition recycling facilities. So all that to say that we look forward to learning more about the proposed technology and the project, and about Waste Management's role as the hauler in this process. We value our relationship in the city and our 40-year partnership with the City of Lancaster and many of you. Not all of you for 40 years, don't worry, ladies. And at the end of the day, we're here, we're listening, we have an open mind, and we want to do what's best to meet the needs of our customers. Thank you.
Thank you. William Winchester. Just to make it so we're not taking up a couple of minutes for everybody to walk up, I'm going to call the next name, and if they could sit there in the reserve seat. This is Rod Rogelot. I don't know if I said that right. Go ahead and just have a seat in the front there. Go ahead, Mr. Winchester.
Good evening, Mr. Vice Mayor and City Council members. I am William Winchester, Vice President of Sales of Berg Mill Supply Company. And our company is pleased to be part of the Ecolution team. Our role in the project will be quality control, materials marketing, and logistics. As the sorted materials of positive value come through the system, it will be our responsibility to get them to the end users, where they will be remade into new products. Berg Mill is celebrating its 50th year in business this year. And Roger Berg, our founder, is one of the pioneers in the recycling industry. And we continue that pioneering spirit as we join with Ecolution. While we have been around a long time, we're not a household name because we function as a support to companies like Ecolution. While you may not have heard of us, the companies that consume the reclaimed fiber and plastics and metals certainly have. They trust in our brand name to supply them with quality feedstock for their hydropulpers and pelletizers and smelters. We are a team of experienced professionals ready to market the material reclaimed in this facility. We will be marketing it domestically and worldwide. We have a state-of-the-art system for logistics, accounting, and administration of the material stream. And we have a cadre of vendors hungry to begin hauling this material to the end users. Berg Mill, as a 50-year company, has seen and worked with many different types of sorting facilities. But Ecolution's design is clearly the most thorough that we have encountered, and we are excited to be a part of the team that is bringing it to fruition. Our excitement comes from the reality that we are going to reclaim more material from the landfill than has ever been done previously. Further, and my main point is that we have observed that the recycling rates on the reclaimed grades has nationally plateaued, whereas the demand for these materials nationally and internationally continues to climb. This system will allow us to provide fresh generation of materials for a market that is hungry for them. I congratulate you on your vision, and I look forward to spending a lot more time in Lancaster.
Rod Rogelot. Walter Brennan, have a seat up front, please.
Good evening. My name is Rod Rogelot. I'm the president of Replanet. Replanet is the largest collector of used beverage containers in the state of California and also in the United States. We are here in answer to Mr. Chris' question about what happens with the material. We've been following this project with interest, and we would be the perfect example of someone who would come in after the process has started and have a keen interest in taking the fibers, the number 1 PET plastic, the number 2 HDPE plastic, as well as the non-ferrous metals.
Would you be interested in building a plant here?
We certainly would.
Thank you.
And as an example of that, I can tell you what we're involved with today. Our operations extend beyond the collection of the container types, and we are fully integrated from collection through processing into manufacturing. It probably is the ideal example of what it is that you'd be looking for as an add-on to this type of a facility. All possibilities are here, whether it's moving the materials elsewhere or in answer to your question, co-locating and creating the jobs here. Our operations today in California employ 700 people. We are bringing from our manufacturing operations that exist in 5 other plants around the U.S., to a consolidated location in Modesto, an additional 600 jobs in the next 36 months, where we take the beverage containers, we take the #1 PET, we will turn that into clamshells for Driscoll's, well-picked, earthbound farms, as an example, that you would see on your grocery store shelves. We will also take that material back into our collection facilities. Likewise, with the aluminum beverage containers, we take that material, we turn it into pie pans, lasagna trays that you purchase at the grocery store, and we are one of the largest manufacturers of that material as well. The cellulosic material we have an interest in because we are capable of taking that and turning it into bioplastics and biochemicals, which is a unique process that we are moving forward in the Sacramento area. And all of those items fit perfectly with the stream that would be generated from the efforts of this operation, and we would look forward to doing a similar thing that we're doing in Modesto here in the community of Lancaster.
Walter Brennan and Matthew, I can't read the lighting, it's like Vekoplan.
My name is Walter Brennan. I am actually a registered professional engineer in the state of California, and I'm also a lead accredited professional. I'm a principal with EXP. We're an international design firm of over 3,500 people, and our services include architectural, structural, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, fire protection engineering services, and that would be our role on this project. We also specialize in energy design of systems as well as sustainable design. And as part of our sustainable design studio, we always look for projects that benefit the environment. And this is one of those projects. As part of our lead design process, we're always worried about human well-being as well as human behavior. And one of the challenges with human behavior is trying to recycle based on human behavior. It's very inefficient when you rely on people deciding on how to recycle. The beauty of a one-stream system is you take that out of the equation. So you're actually allowing people to just dispose of their waste how they are traditionally used to doing it, and then this process actually increases your efficiency of recycling the materials. In addition to that, you actually get a benefit of a great source of renewable energy. So for those reasons, we fully endorse this project, and we hope that you will as well and vote to move the project forward. Thank you.
Matthew Vekoplan and Kurt Bratton. I don't know if I said your name right.
Everhart, yeah. Vekoplan
You're with
is the company.
Vekoplan.
Exactly.
Okay.
My name is Matthew Everhart. I'm North American Sales Manager with Vekoplan. Vekoplan's role in this project is, as you heard Tim and George say, the systems integrator as well as equipment supplier. What Vekoplan is Vekoplan is a company that designs, manufactures, installs, services, systems designed around processing and recovery of waste in all of its various forms. Started in the 60s, a woman-founded business in Germany, expanded to North America in the 80s, have representation now on 6 continents, over 400 employees, both in engineering, design, manufacturing, so on and so forth. Our experience is pretty vast in this. The definition of who's the biggest in the space really depends on how you define what handling waste in building systems is. But we have over 75 fully operating facilities built, running, that process some sort of alternative fuel, advanced material recovery, rough waste processing, and so on and so forth. So we've been doing this a while. We're really excited about this project because it brings together a lot of really great technologies that we've had the experience to work with for decades in Europe and even in Canada, where we have a large system being installed as we speak for this style of recovery. But mostly because we're excited about seeing pioneers in this industry pop up in the U.S. I mean, we have a tremendously rich waste stream here. We're kind of reaching the point where the cost of the technology, as well as the cost of operating it, is meeting with the cost of the recyclables produced, and so on and so forth. And it's just really exciting time for us. So I'm really glad to be here. Thank you very much for your time, and we're very proud and very excited to be part of this project.
Thank you. Kurt Bratton, Brian Bean.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and City Council. My name is Kurt Bratton. I'm the President of Republic Services in the Los Angeles area. We are nationwide. Republic Services is one of the leading collectors and recyclers and also owners and operators of landfills, transfer stations, et cetera, across the nation. In Los Angeles County, we're the largest holder of franchises contracts throughout the city of Los Angeles, and we're also the largest hauler within the city of Los Angeles for commercial waste. So I'm here today really because two things: to commend council and staff really on the collaborative effort to come up with such an innovative partnership. It's very exciting to see because this is the future. And what I'm here to really to talk about is kind of the regional impacts that this will have. As with when landfill capacity was really starting to shrink, it was a regional approach that really provided the basis for kind of planning going forward. This project really provides that that's the future. It provides the foundation going forward for how waste will be processed and then turn into something valuable. We really see the value in that. I think both from the unincorporated areas of Los Angeles County and also from the city of Los Angeles and its surrounds, there's going to be a lot of interest in being able to use this kind of facility going forward to meet our diversion needs. The advent of AB 341 and what the impacts that has on the commercial waste streams are going to well stretch beyond the capacity of infrastructure that exists in Los Angeles County just to process the good recyclables that exist in there today. That infrastructure does not exist. The numbers don't work. So as this project really is a foundational element to how we solve for commercial recycling in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Bean, Rich Poston.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Brian Bain, and I'm a partner with Copper Creek Capital Group. I've been in the corporate and project financing business for more than 30 years. I've also known Chairman Gitchell and a number of other principals associated with this project for several years. And I'd like in a moment to comment on the financeability of this project, but before I do, let me share with you a little of my personal background. I began my career on Wall Street in 1979, working at Morgan Stanley in corporate finance, project finance, and M&A, and also at Goldman Sachs. Both of these positions were in New York. I also worked at Barclays National Merchant Bank in Johannesburg, South Africa, where I was actively involved in project finance, working as well at Pacific Holding Corporation in Los Angeles for David Murdoch, where I evaluated his M&A deal flow and managed his extensive investment portfolio. I ran the Western region for Kidder Peabody's institutional derivatives practice and spent 13 years at Robertson Stephens, where I was head of global technology banking. While at Robertson, I completed more than 150 IPOs and secondary offerings. Later, I ran CRT Capital Group's West Coast investment banking practice, focusing on structured finance. At Copper Creek, we focus on project financing for alternative energy projects principally, also corporate financings and technology M&A. Based on my decades of finance experience, my familiarity with project financing, my understanding of this project and its associated returns, and an appreciation of the appetite of institutional investors for investments of this type, it is my firm belief that this project is imminently financeable. In addition to facilitating compliance with newly enacted state legislation, this project exemplifies, in my opinion, a greener future for municipal solid waste management. I commend the Council for considering this project and urge you to approve 2 agreements with OEC Lancaster. Thank you.
Rich Poston.
Good evening, City Council and Vice Mayor. My name is Rich Poston. I am the Chairman and CEO of the Antelope Valley Black Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also here on behalf of the Hispanic, the Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber as well. We have test flights happening on a daily basis. We have Northrop, Lockheed, NASA, all of those, all of that technology right here in our backyard, just a stone throw away. And we feel, because of the job creation and the economic development that's going to take place as a result of this project, this is the perfect project for this area. So we strongly urge that you move forward and accept this project and approve it this evening without further delay. We think that this will be the best thing for our members and create more benefit for the cities. Thank you.
That's it for the speakers. Is there any discussion or any more questions for staff?
Vice Mayor, I'd like to make a statement. I know there was some dialogue back and forth between the council and the presenters. I'm quite impressed with what we've heard so far tonight. It tells us that we're going to be 8 years ahead of the next minimum threshold for waste recycling. And who knows, we might even actually be 15 years ahead of the state, or 20 years, rather than being behind with this project. And then some of the other things that I heard was the facility being LEED certified. And tonight we've heard a multitude of people come before us and talk about the reality of this project and what it can actually bring to the city. And it's real difficult for me, listening to the presentation and thinking through all the benefits, that ultimately, when some questions were asked tonight about how is the citizens going to benefit, it's clear to me that the benefit will be not future prices raised, potentially with the waste hauling stream, as government continues to crack down on cities operating, making sure that they meet these minimum requirements. So it's pretty clear to me. Because I know that what a lot of people are thinking today is, well, this is what my trash bill is today, but we're not thinking about where it's going to be at 10 or 15 years from now when we get that mandate. And this is a alternative solution to getting there much quicker. And then on top of that, we're bringing jobs, and we all know in this economy, although we've got a federal government that might be remiss, and we might even have a state government remiss, this group here is not remiss, because that's one of our key elements of what we're trying to do today and in the future, is to bring new jobs here. So here we've got a win for the environment. We've got jobs that come into the city, and these are good jobs. I'm clear that these are not minimum wage jobs. And then the last thing, or third thing, is we should have future stabilized prices in the people's trash bills. And potentially there's going to be income for the city. So when I hear the presentation, we probably got some of the greatest experts in the industry out here tonight doing a presentation, and I haven't heard really any negatives. So with that, I find it very difficult not to vote for this project.
Anybody else?
I do. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Fuller and his group of people that have came to the city to bring this together. The money that the city receives from the state is being taken away. We've all seen that. We've seen it through redevelopment. We need to find different resources, different income streams to replace that money with. This is a perfect example. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't hurt anybody. It helps. It gives us 200 jobs. They're talking about not just building one, but if it's ultimately successful, they're going to build 2, 3, 4. But the best thing about this is it primes the pump. It primes the pump for the entire community. It primes the pump, and it allows other people to come in and to harness all our resources that are here. There's 17% unemployment in this valley. We need our people to get to work. And these people and our city council and the entire Antelope Valley is striving towards that. One of the best things about it is it replaces income streams to the city. For each plant that they build, the city will receive up to $6 million. Now, just so everyone's aware of how much that is, that's the equivalent of the income stream that we receive from the Lancaster Auto Mall, the income stream that's derived from the Palmdale Auto Mall, and the income stream that's derived from the Antelope Valley Mall. This will be one of the largest resources in the history of the Antelope Valley. This is a great thing for the entire Antelope Valley. And Mr. Reeves, I know that you're president of the Optimist Club, but you should be for this. This is a great thing for the Antelope Valley. It's a great thing for Lancaster. Thank you.
Anybody else? That being the case, do I hear any motions combine, if you could please, in one motion, NB4 and NB5?
I would like to move that we approve NB4, NB5.
I will second that.
Call for a vote. Passes unanimously. Okay, council agenda.
Can we take a 10-minute break at this time?
No.
Please?
Yeah. Cassandra Harvey on the Housing Authority. And so I'll make that motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Call for a vote.
No,
Oh, yeah.
there is.
Okay, sorry.
Actually,
Before we call, before I took the vote, two?
Two.
That's on the second one. Mr. Reeves, I know you're not in favor of it, so come and tell us. If we voted no for it, would you be in favor of it? I just curious.
Okay.
Okay.
Vice Mayor Smith, council, staff, ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, we're scheduled to have a city election on April 10th, and we may have two new council people up there with you. On the basis of that, I would like to see these appointments to the Lancaster Housing Authority be postponed until after the April 10th election, so that if we have two new council people up on the council, they'll be able to vote on it, because I'm sure that this is going to be a long-term appointment. And as it appears, it looks like a midnight type appointment in lieu of the fact that we're having a council election and we may have two new people up there. And the new council people, I'm sure they would want to have something to say about the appointments. So thank you.
Okay, motion on the floor, second. Call for a vote. It's not ready yet. There you go. Passes unanimously. On the second one, same thing. Mayor Paris, in his absence, I am announcing his appointments. And by the way, as soon as we get the appointments for the commissions, then we're all going to take one big, massive swearing in, right, Madam Clerk? Yes. Okay. So on the, we have a speaker card for Mr. Reeves again. So on the Architectural Design Planning Commission, and I guess, Mr. McEwen, didn't we usually take separate votes to appoint the chair and also appoint the members? So since I'm announcing the chairs, we can do it all in one fell swoop, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So April Bartlett is chair, Amanda Haas, Timothy Wiley, Andrew Mercy, Russ Bertholet, Catherine Carlson. On the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission, David Vieira, chair, Newton Chalette, Tim Fuller, Jim Gopal, Mark Brown, Lee Smith, and Cherie Pickens. On the Lancaster Neighborhood Vitalization Commission, Steve Derryberry, Chair, Howard Harris, Lisa Moulton, Concepcion Harris, Michelle Kiefer, and Angela Hearns. And with that, those nominations, I will make a motion that we appoint those as just stated. Do I hear a second?
I'll second CO2.
Then we will have Michael Reeves.
At the last council meeting, Vice Mayor Smith, council staff, ladies and gentlemen, I recommended to Mayor Paris that instead of appointing people to these commissions, it's the same people that seem to be appointed to different commissions, that Mayor Paris appoint people to committees, community members to committees in lieu of these commissions, so that gives a greater input for the community. These people are outstanding people, there's no doubt about it, but they don't reflect the complexity of our community. We have black people, we have Asian people, we have female, we have Latinos. I think all these commissions should equally reflect the diversity in our community. And also reminding you again that we may have 2 new council members in a couple of months, and on the basis of that, I would hold off on reappointing or appointing these commissions until the new council people may appear on the council. Thank you.
Mr. Reeves, if I may respond, I don't think it's fair for us to put the city on hold on making decisions because of a future city council election. So we need to continue making the city successful.
Councilmember Johnson, you could, if the worst comes to worst, you can make an interim 2-month appointment for these positions, and then they can come up again if there's 2 new council people on the council.
Well, that being the case, if you get elected, you can make a motion to rescind it.
There you go.
So there's a motion on the floor and a second. Call for a vote, please.
No, wait a minute, Ron.
Oh, you want more?
I think it's
Did I miss one?
disingenuous of what you're characterizing these commissions, that they're not racially diverse. They're very much racially diverse, okay? And I don't appreciate your characterization of that. Go ahead, Ron.
Okay, no, thank you. Motion on the floor, second. Call for a vote. Passes unanimously. We have now a council agenda item. This is CA 101. This is for the, and we got more cards. This is for the city council to direct the city attorney. This is from, I understand. What? What are we doing? Do we swear them all in now? Are you not at the end of this? What would you like to do? You want to swear them all in now? I thought we were going to finish all the CA stuff. No, but that's, since we're on a roll. Okay, we'll do it in a second. Okay. Mayor Paris has asked that we direct the city attorney to file a complaint with the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development. This is an addendum that's on here with the Los Angeles County Housing Authority for discrimination for Section 8 vouchers and inadequate enforcement of Section 8 program. And on behalf of Mayor Paris, Ms. Harris is going to make an announcement.
Who?
I'm sorry.
Just kidding. I had an opportunity to participate.
Party, I meant.
I know.
I'm thinking something else.
We go way back, I know. I had an opportunity to participate in discussions with HUD last Friday, and at times those discussions got quite passionate. It's clear that the problems in the program in which we're being asked about are really with the county housing authority. The charges against us should have been made against the county housing authority if they, in fact, had any validity at all. With LA County in the settlement now, clearly we must hold them accountable for the program administration. And the way to do that is asking HUD to investigate what we believe are deficiencies in the program. So I think that it notes at least saying that and bringing that to everyone's attention. And like I said, it was a very passionate meeting, and I feel like there was a lot of very good dialogue between ourselves and HUD.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Okay, that being the case, if there's no other discussion or objection, then it'll be considered consensus for Mr. McHugh and direction from the council to go forward on that. Did you want to speak on this one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, because it looked like you didn't have it written down for it. Go ahead. We're not voting, it's just by consensus. So.
Believe it or not, I agree with Mayor Paris that the city, his initial comments, that the city should not settle with HUD. I think that you talk about racial allegations, Councilmember Chris. There are racial allegations made in this complaint filed by HUD on discrimination. And we have to understand two things are going on. The feds are investigating.
Mr. Reeves, that's not what we're talking about right now. So if you could stay on point, if you'd like to, you could talk about that at your non-agendized items. I'll call you back up.
Oh, okay.
So, any names out there of commissioners? Could we have them stand up? Anybody appointed? Yeah. We're going to bring you all forward, and Jerry's going to do one, and we're going to all come down because we're on the Housing Authority, and except for Sam. You guys say here.
Hold down the fort. I'll protect everything. Still come, yeah. I still like to shake your hand.
You want to stand behind you?
I'm not standing next to him.
Get a good shot. I have you guys kind of angle. Sure, it's like this. Yeah.
You want to put him in the center?
Stand behind us so everybody can see him.
Do that? Put him in the center?
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of California, against all enemies, foreign and domestic? You will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which you are about to enter.
I do.
Okay. We do have documents for you to sign, and if you'll, my secretary's right here.
We're in for another 2 months. I'm so happy.
Grazie.
What do we got left now? I thought we were going to have to repeat all that.
Try.
I do it much easier.
She did that well. I've never seen it before.
Very
She made him repeat it before.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, now that, whatever. Okay. Let's see, there's no action for the Lancaster Finance or the new Housing Authority. City Manager, any directives?
No, sir. Oh, I do have one, I'm sorry. You want me to talk about that now or at the end of the meeting?
Yeah, we're just chatting about it. Go ahead and talk about it.
Okay. This Saturday at 6 o'clock, there will be a
5
fundraiser.
o'clock for cocktails.
5
5
p.m.
o'clock cocktails. There will be a fundraiser at the University of Antelope Valley. It will be Antelope Valley's own Dancing with the Stars. And we have 3 very worthy competitors up there who will be dancing with
We could have had 4,
professionals.
but Ken jumped out.
Vice Mayor Smith, who really thinks he's going to win, don't tell him otherwise, Councilmember Johnson, and Deputy Mayor Zetto will all be the partners, and I guess we have our sister city to the south.
That's
will also
right.
be there.
I mean, this is. Who was the one that was asking we should have a boxing match or something? No, well, this is the competition between Palmdale, right? I mean, we have Councilman Steve Hoffbauer and Tom Lackey and Tom Lackey's wife Teresa, and we also have Kathy Hart. and Randy Hall, who's one of our commissioners.
Exactly. We have to represent for the planning commissioner.
We got that, and it's like a regular Dancing with the Stars. We're all doing the waltz, and then we're doing our other whatever dance, and she won't tell us what she's doing yet. I'm doing the tango, and you're doing the samba, right? And so it's going to be fun, and it's raising money for a children's program that puts on dancing in the local ballroom dancing in the local schools, and they have a big competition. And this is a nonprofit, so it's going to be fun and good, healthy competition. So.
And it's all for a great cause.
All
So
for a good
very,
cause.
very excited.
It's going to be fun.
And I'm not saying what I'm doing because I have no idea what I'm doing yet. So
You know, it's only in a few days.
I know. I better get on it.
Everybody has to know that Sandra was a professional dancer. And Kitty's asking for a handicap. So, okay. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for you to address the City Council on any items that are not on the agenda. You'll find speaker cards at the back of the council chambers.
There we go. Okay. Council agency comments, anybody? And no closed session, so that being the case, then this meeting is adjourned until Tuesday, February 28th, 2012. Thank you and good night.